Hey, welcome to the Unsung Podcast. Today I'm joined by two very special guests who have a mission about an effort they're doing to help people. And this is Ashley, first of all, who I met through the podcasters on Facebook page. And
Hi,
welcome to the show, both of you.
thanks.
Yeah, hi. So
So
we're actually co-founders of FND Warriors, which is a movement we created in October of 2024, so it's brand new.
perfect.
Um, and we have about 1,000 followers now, so it's going great. We're helping people every day on many platforms. And but yeah, let's start with our story. Ashley, do you want to start with how it got
How
created? Like
how
how?
how it began? Yeah.
Yeah.
So my story began way back in about like 2010, but it starts really in August of last year. In August 30th of 2024, I was diagnosed with a condition called functional neurological disorder. And I'll give you a definition of what functional neurological disorder is because I think that's important for people to understand what functional neurological disorder is. Um, so, functional neurological disorder is a condition where there's a problem with how the brain sends and receives information. It's leading to symptoms that can mimic neurological disorders like strokes or multiple sclerosis. These symptoms can include non-epileptic seizures, weakness or paralysis, and movement disorders. But these are not due to a structural disease or, structural disease of the nervous system. Instead, they stem from issues with how the brain functions, often triggered by psychological stress or trauma. FND, which is the acronym for functional neurological disorder, was previously referred to as conversion disorder or hysteria, but modern understanding treats it more as a neurological issue rather than solely psychiatric.
So when we're talking about FND, we are usually gonna say that the body is the hardware in a computer and the brain is the software. And there's a problem with the software, but there's nothing we can do about that. So it's just gonna send strange signal to the hardware, and it's gonna create some weird symptoms on the daily. Anything on the like in the body can be affected by FND. All the senses, strokes, like she said. There are so many things that
Seizures,
seizures. No, not stroke. Yeah, seizure. And so many other things.
paralysis,
Paralysis.
weakness,
Yep.
weakness,
Yeah. Yeah. On top of my
you,
head, I have just so many. Like,
yeah,
uh, it's
lots of different things.
Is this
every day
something? Sorry.
is very hard
Mhm.
because we are spending so much energy, like our body's getting so much energy fighting that miscommunication that we have barely any energy to do anything on the daily. There are people that are like me that have chronic fatigue, so they sleep for about 15 to 18 hours per day. They cannot catch up on any energy at all. So it's just
It's hard.
hard in general, and that's why and we I there's nobody knows about that. Like not even the health professional knows about what we have. It's
And
not
that's why we're doing this. And that's why we're doing the awareness. And that's why we're doing the podcast. And that's why we started FND Warriors so that people can do it. But my story goes actually a little bit deeper.
go.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Um,
have to admit as well, I had actually never heard of it until I saw your post on the page.
Well, nobody does until they're diagnosed with it.
Yeah.
That's usually how it goes.
yeah.
Okay.
It's so
So
rare that yeah, nobody knows about it.
Crazy.
so I was diagnosed.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, no, I was just gonna say, let's go back into your deeper into your story.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was diagnosed. Didn't know what to do. But I was working. I was a working professional, making really good money, working a professional job, and went back to work on a gradual return to work, and was basically started. That's when I went back to work. I was started basically being pushed out of my job after I got my diagnosis. I started being ostracized, um, because I went back to work in a four-wheeled walker. When I was diagnosed, I went back. I sorry, I have speech problems.
It's okay. You're doing
Um,
great.
when I went back to work, I went back to work in a four-wheeled walker. I was unable to walk. That's where like the temporary paralysis comes in, or paralysis, or move problems walking, tremors, issues walking, things like that. So I had trouble walking. I had trouble walking. Um, and I couldn't, when I went back to work, I went into a building that was not compliant with the standards of the building code. So I couldn't actually get into the building in my four-wheeled walker. I couldn't get into, there was no wheelchair buttons for me to open the door. There was no wheelchair accessible washroom, so I couldn't get into the washroom with my walker. So the company's suggestion, or well, the company's solution, was to move me to another building, but that was to separate me from my team. And it was to basically, like, my team was there and I was all by myself and I was all alone. I wasn't learning properly. I was being away. I was basically being pushed out.
That's gotta not only be hard on the physical side of it, but hard on your mind too, just feeling
It
so
was
deep.
it was so detrimental to my mental health.
Wow. And that's,
It
I can't even imagine. It must have just felt like you're on an island and you're
But
coming.
that's not even the worst part.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Okay.
it gets so much worse. It gets so much worse. Um, on October 18th, which was a Friday, there was a fire drill that I didn't know was a fire drill. I'm on the 18th floor, and I'm told that the fire safety plan is I'm supposed to go down at a service elevator during a fire drill. I may start making my way to and I'm in my four-wheeled walker, and start making my way to the service elevator. I'm going to make my way there. My manager starts coming from the way of the service elevator, and she tells me the service elevator's out. You have to follow me, come this way. And we start making our way to a corner office. And I'm like, oh my God, we're going to a corner office? Like, the whole building is glass, okay? You have to think of this whole building as glass, and we're going to a corner office where I'm covered in glass. And all I can think of is, oh my God, if the building engulfs in flames, it's gonna all the air is gonna rush in, glass is gonna come right at me. That's all I can think of is like the building's just gonna engulf in flames. But that's not even the worst part. They pull out a bag of gas masks, and I have a full-on panic attack, and I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, what is a gas mask gonna do? And that's when I realized I'm not getting out of the building like everybody else. And so that's when they say, oh, just calm down. It's just a fire drill. And I say to them, I'm going home for the day.
Yes.
And I went home for the day, and I sent an email to my HR manager and the head of health and safety. And I wanted a clear fire safety plan for me before I came back to work, because I didn't feel safe on the job. And I came back into work on Monday, and I was terminated
Without cause.
without cause, which means I was fired for no reason.
Wow. So this was how long ago?
in October.
October 2024.
Yeah.
Wow. So this happens, you know what, you're this lady here with you. How
Sh-
did you two meet? Like
She is very frustrated at that point.
Mhm.
She doesn't really know what to do, where to go. She knows she needs support. And I actually met her in a support group meeting, and she was telling everybody about her story and about how she wanted to get out in the world and tell people about her story and try to raise some awareness and I don't know, help people in general because she couldn't find something that was really giving what she needed. And I didn't. I've been diagnosed 3 years ago and I never had that sense of community with any of the support groups that I was in. I was getting like maybe a meeting per month, and even that was like just question on the Facebook pages. And I helped a lot of people, like answering the question and everything, but never really got any help from them, any like at
Yeah.
all. I had to get my way up there by just finding my information, the information, and that was a really long process due to 3 years of just finding my way. And when Ashley started FND Warriors, I just came on the group and she's like, "Do you want to be a moderator?" And I was like, "Yeah, like I want to join. I want to be part of the fun. I want to help for real. I want to have something that is gonna,
Sorry, this is my emotional support dog.
Oh.
yeah, that is really gonna help me with like on the daily."
Mhm.
And we wanted to do some things differently. Um, So we started with a Facebook page, but then we got a Discord uh
24/7 chat group.
24/7 chat. So anybody who has a hard time, who has questions, anything, they can just go on there anytime. It's for it's worldwide, so there's no limit or anything. Any hours you can ask question and you can get the help you need. And it's been
Amazing.
growing great.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
People are helping each other. Like we started that thing. We had a vision, we started it, and then people are now in the community are now doing the same thing, trying to give and trying to
We
help
don't
each
have to
other.
we don't have to be in it as much and monitor as much because people are able to do it them like they've
Wh-
seen how we do it and they are able to do it now themselves. So it's great.
See,
yeah.
the really powerful thing I'm getting from this, like you're talking about feeling like you're alone on an island when that fire drill was going off.
Hmm.
Now you got all these people, at least 1,000 people on there that could be feeling the same way because just already talking to you two, FND doesn't look as much like it's not really a visible uh like
No,
right like
it's
No.
yeah.
it's kind of similar to someone with PTSD like I had or or I've got wounds in my legs that you can't see like if I were to walk into an office and see you two sitting there I'd be like oh hey how's it going have a good day you'd never tell so it's
Nobody can
Exactly.
tell. But
Exactly.
also FND is very hard in some way because it can be caused by um,
Trauma.
trauma, but it also can be just coming up. One day it just comes up and you have it, and there's nothing you can go, like, there's nothing you can do to come back to the old self. You have a new normal, you have a new life from that start point. It happens one day and then everything changes.
Yeah.
So I'll just tell my story
sure.
really
Yeah.
well. So I got into a car accident in 2021, which was not well. I hit a boost with my car, so that was life. Like I was life inches from death, but it's not too bad because
Well, she can
I
laugh
didn't
about it
have.
now.
Yeah, but well, I didn't have too many any injuries, significant injuries.
Yeah.
I got out of there and I was clearly shocked, but like I was okay. And then I got after like the adrenaline came out, there's a back pain coming and okay, and then a few weeks later I can walk, but I get paralysis and everything. And then they just discovered that I had a herniated disc that could get me paralyzed in the next few weeks if I didn't do anything. So I had to go into surgery for that. And I didn't really have a choice because you don't want to be paralyzed. You don't want to do anything about that. That like maybe take the chance of not having it. Uh, but yeah, so I went into surgery and the anesthesia caused FND. So when I woke up from the anesthesia, I couldn't feel my skin on my entire body, and I still doesn't feel it to this day. I was feeling very weird. My senses were just kind of off. And then a week later, they tried to find what was happening to me, but I was like, it was the minute after my surgery. I was like, they didn't know. They were like, we'll have to wait a little bit and see what's up with that. And then a week later, I have burning pain in my legs to the point where like my legs are just on fire. There's nothing I can do that's gonna help. So I went and got hospitalized and I was like, what what could I do? So they were just putting ice pack on my legs. That's the only thing they could do because no medication was working. Nothing.
Mhm.
So they were like, okay, it's not caused by the neurosurgery. It's probably it's we'll have you meet a neurologist just to see. So the neurologist came in, did some little test, and he's like, okay, well, if you don't feel like there are so many things that you cannot feel like that are getting numb on your body and everything, but if your chest is numb, that's nothing, that's not, the nervous system is not affected. It's probably FND.
Hmm.
And he just gave me a website, FND Hope, and he's like
Here
I
you
didn't
go.
even have like a pen and paper. I just got it on a note on my phone, and he was like, well, good
Here you
luck.
go. Here you go. And
Wow.
That's it.
it's just the biggest FND website that there is. And there's great information on it, but it's like, it's again,
Nothing. And he's
it's
like, nothing is gonna help you. Like no medical and that's where it's hard because FND is not it's not neurological, but it's not psychiatric either. So we're kind of the in between
Wow.
of no department wants to take our case, so we don't have anybody who are trained
once or
or wants
responsible
to
for,
help.
yeah, there's some hospitals that are making specialized departments for us, like in Edmonton where Elizabeth
Yeah.
lives.
Well, there are a few in the world. Um, they're making research, they're trying to help, but it's not that much compared to like
Yeah.
most of our cases of FND are not even treated. Like they're just gonna let you go and not do much about that. So I did. I went from there. I gathered some information, tried to change my life, and in the beginning, I was not even able to find someone who could believe me. They were just thinking I was faking,
Wow.
all
Mhm.
of them. And I didn't know what to do. I was like, well, that's what's happening. I'm not faking it. I'm gonna lose my job. I'm gonna lose everything. I'm not faking any of that because I was a school bus driver. So because of my fainting and my tremors in my legs, I lost my driver license. And they were
Yeah.
like, yeah, we don't really know what to do. We don't know what specialists we should send you to. I got to so many specialists, and all of them were like, "Well, yeah, I don't deal with that. Sorry, I don't even know why they referred you to me." And I did that for 2 years, and at some point, I was like, "I'm done." And
Yeah.
my general practitioner was like, "Yeah, I get it. I get that. Like, you need to move on and get just not being in the system and trying to find a solution where there's no cure, so we just need to change our life, change our way of living, lifestyle, so we are reducing as much stress as possible and we are dealing with our emotion better.
Yeah.
There's so many things we can do, but it's really about finding the tools to help you live with FND and not cure FND.
And that's one of the biggest messages that we put through in the group is that it's living with the disorder and managing it
Because
effectively.
everybody
It
is looking for a
for
solution.
looking for a cure, and there's no cure. It's just living with it. It's living with it and managing it
But positively,
Yeah.
finding a way
positively.
to
Yes.
live and be a community and help each other because most days are gonna suck, but if we're together, it's gonna be a little better. Because
Exactly.
most
We
of
just
us, our parents, our loved ones, our everybody doesn't even believe us, or they're gonna they cannot understand. They cannot
Mhm.
yeah.
understand what we're going through at all.
Well, you know what?
Nobody can,
That's so similar to it seems so similar to PTSD because a lot of people I ran into is like, man, just get over it. Like it's just in your mind, but it's
right?
right. It's a lot easier said than done. I mean, I've been good for about 4 or 5 years now, but there's still little things that could just, even a song, something so simple
Yeah.
can make a day go from
Well,
I have a painting.
any
I have a
trauma
painting
is
on
gonna,
my wall of tulips
yeah.
and lightning striking tulips, and that's what it can be like. And it seems very similar to this. Like you guys are having a great day, you're in a field of roses, and all of a sudden, boom, lightning comes, and then you're feeling
Yep.
alone on an island again.
Exactly. Like what was it yesterday or the day before? Like I'm at a point where like my I don't even I don't even know what to do because I'm at the point where I've filed for disability, but in Canada that takes
At least 6 months.
or longer,
Yeah.
But
eons or eons
yeah,
if you get approved.
if you get approved, because I didn't, both for provincial and federal, I didn't, so I need to start again and do the whole thing, another 6 months, another everything, and like we don't get any income during that time, so we're just dependent on everybody else.
So I'm starting that process. My doctor has deemed me not fit to work, but I don't have a choice. And so I'm looking for a job, but I have an emotional support dog because that fire drill traumatized me.
Oh, I imagine.
And I had to get well, she's a puppy. She's 5 months old. So I have an emotional support puppy. I'm training her. She's very smart. She pees on command. I potty trained her to pee on a pad. Elizabeth can attest to this. She pees on command.
Yeah.
She literally does. And yesterday, I got denied, or yesterday, the day before, I got denied to go to a job interview because of my support dog. They said that they wouldn't take me for hygiene and religious reasons.
Wow. Eesh.
And it's like now they're like, yeah, you're a perfect candidate. And then I'm like, yeah, so I'm just letting you know I'm bringing my emotional support dog. And they're like, no, now we won't take you. And it's like, are you joking? Now I have to fight this discrimination.
Every time we think we're gonna be fine, we have things like that that are gonna happen to us. And if it's not a service dog, it's the fact that we are unreliable because there are days where we cannot get out of bed. There are days where we cannot even take care of ourselves. So what a job is not even something we can even think of. I've been jobless for 3 years and since my surgery, and no, yeah, nobody is really helping because nobody knows about that. Even social workers, anybody, they're like,
Yeah.
eh.
No one knows what to do.
Wow.
Because it's such an unknown condition.
Yeah. Now, when did this group start, the FND Warriors? How long has that been going?
Beginning of
Uh,
November of 2024.
Okay.
yeah. So a little short after or
November.
or Ashley being fired, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, about 2 weeks, two
mm,
weeks after,
Now, are
about
you
that.
getting members, people join from all over, or is it just
Oh yeah.
every corner of the world?
yes,
Yeah.
we
Yes, pretty
are.
much.
Yeah, we have different countries. Most of the people are in Canada, United States, UK,
UK, yeah, I would
Yeah.
say.
and
But
yeah,
we
but
have people from everywhere. We
from
have
everywhere.
France, Australia, uh, uh, but yeah, we have them from all over Europe. I know we have some from the yeah, Europe and
Well,
yeah.
the thing is
I
that
But
with these things, you never know who's watching or looking. Um,
yeah,
I've been watching statistics from this little thing I started 8 episodes ago, and I have like 14 followers from Singapore, and
amazing.
like people in Germany and Australia. I'm like, wow, like that's crazy.
yeah.
So you
That's
you never know who's
amazing.
watching. And my very first podcast I did before I started this lady said, you know what? I only get 5 listeners a week. Like it's not really worth your time. I'm like, listen, if there's one person listening out there, it's going through exactly what I did, then it's 100% worth my time. And even with some of these episodes, I don't care if they get 10 views or 100 views or 1,000 views. It's just that one person. It's kind of cliche, but you never know who's watching.
Yeah, but it's true. That's what we're saying. If we
Yeah.
can help one person that is totally lost, if we can help them manage anything or get through a rough patch, we'll do it anytime. We're
Yeah.
always there for a community.
Yeah, we've
And
even had people come to us and say they thought they had FND.
Hmm.
yeah.
See, the thing is, I was watching a video earlier today, and this woman has MS, and she's a professional bodybuilder.
Hmm.
Okay, and
Okay.
MS usually knocks people out, but she said in her interview, I could either be a victim or I can be a victor. And so
True.
you two, with all the people you're helping, and I'll put all your links in my description. We'll try and get the word out with this. I'm gonna do more research on it because I had never heard of it before today. I'm not gonna lie. And
Eh, it's okay. It's like that.
No one's heard of it.
well, we'll see
Exactly.
what we can do to change that. What's one thing I'll ask this to the both of you that you want people to know about FND? Um,
Well, I just want to mention that we started a podcast
okay.
for helping people with FND. It's called Unraveling FND, and it's just about any topic that could help people with FND or even just raise awareness to the people who doesn't and see how tough it can be. So it's me and Ashley, and we're just giving some insight
Insight. Yep.
and just trying to give the people we're really going for the newly diagnosed most of the time because that's the people that are lost
Yeah.
Struggling the most.
and
Yeah.
struggling.
Yeah.
So we're going to the basics and we're like, okay, so this is what you can do. There are solution and we're always hopeful about how we are delivering the message. We know it's a condition that is very hard, but we can get better.
But we can get better. That's our message, and we're all in this together.
Perfect.
That's
Yeah.
our slogan. We're all in this together.
Nice.
Yeah,
See, one thing I've done with this podcast, and it's kind of strange. Most people, you have people on and just move on, but I really want to help you guys get the word out about this. And
Thank you.
thanks.
like I had my story shared a lot on major outlets and stuff, and I'm just like, you know what? I just want to give people that don't have a voice, and that's why I started this.
That's
I love
something.
meeting all these people, and you sitting at the in that office building, sitting alone, like that hit me because I've kind of been there, like work at stuff too, when I was having really bad PTSD and one actually costing my job, um, almost 10 years ago because I was drinking
Mhm.
every second night and I was missing work, and so I kind of get that,
Mm.
like that analogy, just sitting in the office feeling all alone. That kind of hit me. So
That's struggling. We at the begin. I've been. It's been so hard. I have moments where I have to just now I'm dealing with it the healthy way, but before that was I was relying on weed, on things that I shouldn't, like food, like all the things, because I didn't know how to handle my emotions.
yeah,
And this is really important with FND to get a therapist and try to work on how you're handling managing your stress and managing your emotions and you'll get better. But if the coping mechanism that most of us have are usually not healthy,
Hmm.
and we need to learn. It's a learning journey for everybody.
It is.
have
It
have you
really
two met
is.
in person or just an online friendship?
We did. No,
We
we really
did.
did. We just recently actually.
Yeah, I was moving back home and she was on the way and so we met for a few hours. That was very nice.
And our dogs met. We have the same breed of dogs.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. I have a lab shepherd who I went through a divorce 3 years ago, and the dog came along just after that happened, and I'd be lost without
Mm,
her. So I get the emotional support.
right.
She's my best friend.
Oh yeah.
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 They're very important. Actually, Ashley has been almost seizure free since she got our dog.
I've
Wow.
only had two seizures. I was having 8 to 10 seizures a day, and I've had only had two seizures since I got my dog.
Wow. Animals are amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, so like I said, I'll put all your links in there. I've never used Discord, but if there's any links you guys want to have me put in there, let me know and we'll
Okay,
try and spread some awareness
Amazing.
and see if we can do an update in 6 months or something and see how the page is going if you want. And
perfect. Well,
That'd be
thank you so
great.
much, Dave, for giving us a voice and yeah, and helping us. It's
And helping us,
anything
yeah.
can help.
Anything can help. Yes, anybody who's willing to help us, any podcast that's willing to help us is that's what we're looking for. Anyone who's willing to give us a voice.
perfect. Well, I've met a lot of people that have podcasts I know personally, so anyone out there watching that wants to have these two on and their dogs, maybe we'll go from
Oh, our dogs are always willing to be on.
Yep.
there.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, you both have an amazing day, and let's see how we can help you out here.
You too.
Thank you.